The malefic hand turns the knob, and where the malefic hand, where 10 bright balls choose to land, with his navel hook caught in a stern or in pain. Man is in pain, with his navel hook caught in a stern or on the unseen bright balls choose. Malefic hand turns the knob. Man is a room where the 10 bright balls carve the air. Gelatinously, falling through the window, which is doubled, 10 bright balls back here. Bright ball, man is in pain, bound again into the unseen, unknown, doubles, net. Man is a false window.
You'll notice there was no over-the-edge theme at the top of the hour. Only music. The over-the-edge theme will be played in exactly 48 minutes from just now, because we have a special guest in the studio to play some records and talk about all of the artists that made the music on the records that we'll be playing and how they're all going to be here in town to play the Recombinant Music Festival. My guest is not human. Hello? Not.
Greetings.
Yeah.
Audio-visual festival, but really a variety of things.
Well,
exhibitions.
The proper name of it. Go ahead. You
just
get to sell it.
Recombinant Festival 2018, which will feature many different visitors from Europe and other places, and including some exhibition works and then some very special events around different kinds of visual phenomena that doesn't even include your typical video and screens and things like this. Much more cross-sensory expeditions into other spaces that even the Recombinant Festival is starting up during this period of time.
Sensory Century is McLuhan-worthy. Should we? You have all the flyers over there. I couldn't possibly name all the artists off the top of my head.
Here you go. I'll pass over the postcards that are starting to be circulated about.
Well, we started the top of the hour with a track by Wolfgang Voigt, Gas, who will be playing. What day will he be playing?
Well, I wanted to start off the evening with what we're starting off with at the festival. So on the week after Thanksgiving holidays, and after Black Friday, there is a Monday, and some people call it Cyber Monday, but it'll be on the 26th of November. And during that evening, there will be a special rare appearance by Wolfgang Voigt, who started the label Compact, and one of his main aliases, and there's about 30 of them, is a group or an entity called Gas. And we played a selection from his newest release, Rausch, which came out a couple months ago I think it was during the summer or whatever. And I don't know, it's like the 6th or 7th in a whole series of records that they put out over the years. And he'll be, of course, doing an audiovisual show opening the entire festival. And then the initial act on that evening will be another artist from Germany, Markus Schmickler.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll be doing an electroacoustic kind of set, but expanding into wild surround antics with his new album, which has yet to come out, which he started this year at Berghain and some other places over in Europe. And Marcus is definitely up to some sonic acrobatics this time around. And we're going to be bringing in a Meyer system from Berkeley, donated by our friends over there. And we have also alliances with Subpack and some of these other companies who are bringing in some devices for our exhibitional content that'll be going on during the week.
Now, are we seeing the Cinechamber?
Cinechamber. So Cinechamber is a surround image and sound apparatus that we've used in our 2016 and 2017 editions, and will return next year in 2019
okay.
at the Gray Area venue in San Francisco, which is right on 23rd in Mission. And we also have two other venues. We're going to be premiering the exhibition called Earthworks, which relates to our theme of transmissions from the seismic stations. There's a bit of a tremulator thematics going on in our exhibition content this year. And who's bringing Earthworks to be shown at the lab is a group called Semiconductor, and they're from the UK.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of different worldwide installations. We did a thing with them like 12 years ago. at our place on Brannan Street in San Francisco, which was the Recombinant Media Lab Studios over at the label that we had, Asphodel Building on Brannan Street.
The old building on Brannan Street.
You betcha. So, and then there's a third new location, which no one's ever been to, a fresh space, also in the Mission District, between the lab and the gray area venue.
Can you say anything about that
Well,
location?
we can call it a name, and then the name might remind you of a state, and that can be a state of mind or a state of place, but it's called Ohio, for lack of any other terminology.
Well, that's a tremulator. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And that's related to a project going on that people will be introduced, and that is more of a performance exhibition by Ulf Heinrich, who's originally from the group Granular Synthesis, who we presented about 27 years ago here in San Francisco.
The triptych of granular synthesized screaming heads.
Yes, screaming heads. And
usually the visual motif that many people remember the original series of recombinant festivals in swinging San Francisco in the late 90s, before people even understood what Netscape did.
Oh, yeah, back in the days of Netscape, pre-Google Zone there and all that. And we also incorporated orchestras and different things like that. Which
the ISO orchestra. Is that ever coming? There was a record of ISO that was going to come out.
Yeah, there was some selections on some compilations of that stuff. And next year there is some rumors of an ISO augmented orchestra, which will be coming back in, probably working with the likes of Ulrich Krieger, and some rumors that started last year, that I actually started at the Recombinant Festival last year, about maybe the reemergence of a new version of Metal Machine Music by Lou Reed. So watch for that in the 2019 pages of Operation.
My guest tonight, Not Human, has been responsible for a pretty untoward number of the more impressive electronic music and experimental shows in the Bay Area over the last 30 years. Out at the Compound was what the old space in Hunters Point was called, right? That
began back in the 70s when you would see these strange posters or pick up your phone and hear weird tapes about directions to a place in the Hunters Point area, but down a dirt road and through packs of wild dogs and abandoned cars. And this place, which was in a courtyard, the audience would kind of load out of their cars, and people with walkie-talkies would guide them into this area with big canisters and oil drums filled with fire and timber and all that. And then gradually, as they were coming from their cars, they would hear the sounds from the central warehouse and wait outside until gradually the gates rolled up, the roll-up doors, and the smoke would pour out, and they would go into this performance space, which we used for many different types of productions over the next span of 35 years in San Francisco, with many different kinds of underground shows. By the time the 2000s hit, we were also incorporating many different electronic and experimental crews who came in to also utilize the space during that period of time.
But the original Cellar M with Will Jackson was one of the early groups, and then Rhythm and Noise was. Those were the two entities that you sometimes put at the top of the poster when people basically needed to think that there was a band that they were going to go see.
Right, because sometimes the curtain would open and we'd have these big fences build up and searchlights and all that. And eventually they would kind of see these sound traffic control towers, and then it would be like, well, where's the band? You couldn't even see it half the time. So there were different incarnations of all those productions. And then, of course, gradually bringing in more and more external artists from the Bay Area, and then from Europe they began to seep in, and then we ended up doing a lot of events, of course, over in Europe and Canada, these other locations.
Well, the Diamond de Glace and early Marianne Amichet concerts were before my time, but I definitely remember the first Recombinant Festival, so I'm perfectly happy to help you play some of these. I'm looking forward to this one. So let's listen to another track from any of the artists involved.
I have to drum it
Vicky,
up here.
The Cinechamber, People Like Us is going to be visiting, but she isn't going to be playing her Cinechamber work. She's going to be playing...
she did her first world premiere of a portion of the big piece that she's working on called Gone, Gone Beyond.
Yeah.
And that will be brought back next year in a whole brand new incarnation using the 360-degree Cine Chamber. But this year she has a new piece which has been premiered, called The Mirror.
Excellent.
And this is like a 35-minute film that she's going to be showing at the festival. And that's going to be opening up the proceedings for Friday night, which is November 30th. So this whole week after Thanksgiving, November into early December on the 1st and 2nd is the 7-day duration of this marathon festival for this edition.
Gotcha. Well, play People Like Us and Vicki Bennett are anyone who's been listening to this show for more than a minute is familiar with her works. But what track are you choosing to...
Well, I'm trying to drum it up here.
Okay, how?
Well, I've got an iPhone here, and these are newly loaded pieces from new releases from some of the people who are appearing at the festival. So this first one I'm going to bring up right now will be an artist who will be also on November 30th, which headlines with Isha Devi. And Drew McDowell is a guest for 2 nights because this is a special time. He's going to be in the Bay Area because he's going to do 2 audiovisual premieres with another woman named Florence too. And he's going to do his new album called Third Helix. And she going on tour with him, up and down the West Coast and so forth. There's another woman, Hiro Kone. And she has a new album out. And this is the first track from it. Holo Boint, I believe it's called. And we'll give that a go here. And she'll be on the Friday night program. Here we go. Let's try this.
I choose to believe that as well. Let's listen.
Okay.
Hiro Kone from the album Total Expenditure.
And that was Pure Expenditure from a similarly themed record.
And it just scans.
It keeps on scanning. Absolutely.
Well, what day is Hiro Kone playing again?
Okay,
that's on the same bill as Drew McDowell?
Yeah, now Drew McDowell plays twice. So he's going to play his solo record selections and things from his solo records on Friday, November 30th, on the same bill as Hiro Kone and Isha Devi, and Vicki Bennett of People Like Us will be presenting her film The Mirror, all on the same evening.
Okay.
For Friday evening. Now, the information on the festival, for those who are interested, you can go online and see the entire lineup, of which I will, convey some ingredients of during this conversation. But it's the Recombinant Festival, and that's what it is online. It's RECOMBINANT, recombinant, like the...
It's like ants.
Yeah, well... It can be that too, but also the DNA term, you might say.
Yeah. And, well, if you include the entire word.
Yeah, so it's recombinantfestival.com.
Yeah.
And that has all the information.
We still haven't really just gone down and listed everything in one easy bite-sized piece, all the people they're going to play in. It's an impressive enough lineup. We might as well do that.
Okay, well...
Gas, Wolfgang Voigt.
Right. And with Marcus Schmickler on night number 1, which is the Monday, the 26th, right after people are coming back from all their, holiday, Thanksgiving, Black Friday experiences.
Right.
And then on Tuesday at the Lab, we have an opening of Semiconductors Earthworks, which is a 5 or 8 screen geological display exhibition that they're doing. And that's going to be starting at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for an opening on that night at the Lab in San Francisco. And then following that, we're going to have a special show on that same night and continuing on for a number of nights thereafter around the 8 p.m. region. And this is Alfling Heinrich, who I was talking about earlier from the group Granular Synthesis, who's doing his own solo showing of a certain kind of show, which if you try to film it, there's no way to do it. In other words, it has to deal with light and exposition and a lot of very hallucinogenic material that he's going to be doing. And we're going to have a bus that will be going from the Lab over to this new space several blocks away in the Mission. Mm-hmm. So that's a special, shorter show of which we can show on the various evenings during the course. It's an exhibition during...
Still has something to do with Ohio.
A little bit. I mean, Ohio is the location, but we don't quite know where it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
all right.
It's in that region.
What's the next date?
Okay, the next date is Wednesday, so that's the 28th of November, and this features someone very special to the festival, and that's our artist in residence, Herman Colgan, who's a intermedia maven from Montreal who is a mad scientist. And we're going to build a giant laboratory of his in the middle of the whole gray area space. And instead of doing our Cinechamber setup, this is where he commandeers certain devices in the studio with ion generators and screens and different triggerings of cathode rays and all these different elements that he has used in different shows. And he is one of the purveyors of the seismic theme. He has a piece called Seismic, another one called Aftershock, and he's incorporating elements from about seven of his hour-long shows that he's presented in other places around the world. So this is a new context. In other words, if you're coming to a recombinant festival or recombining excerpts from 7 or 8 of his different shows. Remember, he hasn't even been in San Francisco now for over a decade.
So just give us the greatest hits.
So he's going to present 7 of these audiovisual experiences in a series for a 100-minute show. So that's presented twice on each night. So that's Wednesday evening for 2 shows, and Thursday evening, which is the 29th of November, as we feature a similar version of each show in his laboratory. You go in and explore the laboratory with the artists. And that will also be featuring the Willie Why Not percussion ensemble that's going to play during a segment of that show.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, so there's some live things going on with that.
That makes it local.
Yes,
okay,
it certainly does. And he and Herman Colgan are getting together for the first time.
Great.
So that's one of the signature shows, along with Ulfling Heinrich at Ohio, that are going on for more than just one performance during the week.
Okay.
And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have more of a music concert series, of course, with visuals and other elements thrown in.
Which one's the Demdike Stair?
So Demdike Stair is the night after the Hirokoni, who we just heard, and Drew McDowell's solo stuff. And they're headlining for Saturday night, which is December 1st. So we're right on the cusp of December, going right into it. And then for those of you who might know something about R. Rose, who's been here a few times in different places.
Been a guest on this show.
Yes, he has.
Well, together. We've been friends for 20 years, but
our mysterious R. Rose lived here in the projects with Matmos and many of our other friends here in town.
Now he's more successful. Now that international music, like dance festivals, are.
In the paragraph, when I paraphrase, got a Jordans dancing on your fucking face. Paralyzed, see the paranormal, paratroops summoned by the Grandmaster as he prepares to loot. Temple doors open up, smoke billows out. Now you're hoping what for mercy, get your soul grilled out from another hood. You ain't really fucking with the brotherhood. Even if another could, I wish a motherfucker would. Clip it up or sip it up. Listen, I prefer to chip it up. Damn Skippy, y'all bitter fucks. I could take a bigger chunk. And if I'm calling dog figures up, don't make a move, they like triggers up. Mugs cut them up, chicka chicka what, everything you ever heard of is not a myth.
Right. And you're the body.
It's the hash that we left around. Smoke a whole pan when I feel myself coming down. Live how I wanna live and answer to no one. Similar to the ways of the shogun. Think it through before you try and come and get me, or you'll get shot up by a gang of gypsies.
Drew McDowell, who is the closing person on.
But one of the acts, Drew is going to be doing his own realization of Coil's Time Machines album.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's a very special piece that may conclude at the end of 2018. We'll see what happens with that. But he's only performed it once or twice in the U.S. and then once in every country. So he's being, and this is what he did. He worked on with John Balance and the rest of Coil back in the day. And Time Machines was an entire release that Coil put out. And he's doing his rendition of it because he was such a special part of that.
Yeah.
And that really, in terms of the cult status of this whole thing, you know, is quite an epic closer for the.
It sounds like it's going to have to be a ritual.
Okay, now I'm going to bring on Drew McDowell from record.
Well, I'll turn down the Alan Lamb record then.
And then, yes. Oh, love Alan Lamb. Australian environmental genius. Okay, now I have something started.
It started, and we're going to listen to it. Drew McDowell.
Yeah, Proximity.
He's home again, he's drunk again, he's bouncing off the walls again. A fist comes down like a hammer on a drum, hammer on a drum. Where is this love that will open the doors? Where is this love to make me cry out for more? Where is this love that comes from above? Where is this love? You fight like a soldier with the kids on the street and you couldn't talk it out. That's alright. Walk proud like a man in space, like a king when he dreams of living in a different place. Oh, and he saw like an eagle on the hill where he went when he ran from the raging storm. He couldn't think at school, couldn't take the pain. He cried out for love and no one came.
Dilation, a track by Demdike Stare.
A new release.
What's the name of the album?
I don't know.
It's just new music, and albums don't really exist anymore.
It's a temporal zone sometimes.
It is at least a temporal zone.
So that was a Demdike Stare, and
And phones track.
Yes, they do. And they're going to do a very...
albums totally still exist, or at least playlists.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Demdike Stare is appearing for the first time on the West Coast with Michael England, who is their visualist. He's done very special shows with them throughout the years. This is a brand new full production AV show. And Michael England will be there playing live visuals with what they're doing. And it's an excellent program that started to go around Europe, but this is the first time they brought it over here to the United States. So if you've seen Demdike Stare before around here, this is a completely, visual onslaught along with, all their various sounds and moving through, the rhythms and dimensions that Demdike Stare usually comes up with. And then on the Sunday night, because we were just completing it, we have a woman from Vienna named Electric Indigo, and she's going to be going on before the Coil show on the final night on Sunday. So it's quite a marathon, and I would suggest festival tickets for so you can have kind of the option of when to come and show up and things like that. Mm-hmm. And if anyone wants information on the show, please call 650-255-8947. That's 650-255-8947. And an artificial stupidity agent will answer the line. So anyway, we're, those are for the folks who want to get more in-depth information. Also, the event will also deal with some new kinds of light projections, which Wolfgang Heinrich, Lee Allen is doing a thing called V-Dream, which is where you don a VR head and you watch a VR with your eyes closed. There's other options in the experience, but it's a very personalized experience. And then Craig Doherty is also going to do another exhibition dealing with phosphine retinal phenomena. That means lights and images that get inside your retina or go inside your head in different ways than just watching a video or, things that are more common to audiovisual presentations. So watch out for that. And then I already mentioned...
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah, you watch out because you may not be able to see things in the same way anymore after that.
Well, art is permanent, and a lot of this physical art seems especially permanent.
Well, depending on your after image,
or your your nervous system.
Yeah, exactly. So there's different ways to explore the festival. So again, it's Recombinant, RECOMBINANT festival.com. And for all the the various ticketing and things like that. There's individual nights, but as I said before, I do recommend the festival pass.
So the lab sound system is a Meyer sound system quad, right?
Yeah, and we're going to feature a Meyer system quad at the big venue.
At Gray Area.
Yeah, Gray Area. Okay, so we're bringing in a new system over there as well. So Myers will have a presence in this, as will Subpack and it's co-presented by Gray Area, Foundation of the Arts, and Obscura Digital, who are partners in presentation for this whole full marathon week. So if you want to take an adventure that kind of veers off to the side of some of these other things, then I would highly recommend follow up your Thanksgiving with a bit of other experiences.
What? Airbnb and Google and Facebook, they're getting into experiences, but I think you've been doing it longer.
Well, yeah.
What's the last track you want to play?
Oh, okay. Let's look here. You're playing a track right now. What's
I know, but whatever track you're playing is going to be the last track.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, let's see. Since we're on the let's just go New Fakes, another one from Demdike Stare, because I'm on that same playlist right now.
I can't believe it.
And Look Out.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Which of several qualities predominates in your arsenal? An end to forgetting, which you never thought possible.
ultimate goal here, of course, is to say that intention capture intention capture.
Welcome to Over the Edge. Yep. Intention capture.
What is that about? It's about decoding real neurons using artificial ones. Intention capture.
Ever wish you could record a conversation you've had on the phone with someone, but not sure how to go about it? Here are a few call recording apps you could consider.
People have to trust us.
Okay, do you give me permission to record you?
My mind and body, or increase memory power.
And each user is allowed 20 minutes of free recording per month. If you require more recording time, you can make in-app purchases to get more time.
Father,
you must understand the meaning of any facts you wish to remember. Associations based upon logical thinking are the most effective way to strengthen memory.
the purpose of this test. Which of several qualities predominates in your arsenal?
So now she's getting all, emotional and whatnot. But anyways, I was able to act as a professional from Verizon, and I convinced my girlfriend that she had a virus on her phone. She got all emotional, like anyone else would, and she was willing to do whatever I told her in order to save her phone and prevent all of her personal information from being stolen by someone else.
Is this machine recording? Is this machine recording? Is this machine...
Do you give me permission to record you? Permission to record you?
Relaxation gives me increased memory power.
You, my imperialistic friends, have wasted $600 million. You have slain uncounted thousands of the people you desire to benefit.
Similar ideas I have learned
Generals come home from their harvest, bringing their sheaves with them, in the shape of other thousands of sick and wounded and
I always recall to mind, at least once, what I have learned.
You can record up to 2 minutes of conversation for free, and after that, you'll have to pay for more recording time. Your recordings are saved within the app and can be exported if you wish. These types of devices will allow you to record your conversation and save it as an audio file for you to keep. After you've hung up the call, you can check your voicemail messages to find a recording of your conversation.
Do you give me permission to record you?
If the audio files are saved to your device, be sure nobody else has access to your device without your knowledge.
It is easy for me to remember.
American flag in the eyes of numerous people, the emblem of sacrilege and of the burning of human dwellings and of the horror of torture.
And the senator went on in his speech to criticize the administration for the conduct of the war.
Intention capture. Intention capture. Intention capture. Intention capture. Intention capture.
Don't shoot!
Either way, though, it doesn't let them know that they're being recorded unless you let them know. So make sure you adhere to whatever law or rule is in your country or your state. But now the calls are merged, and it's actually recording the voice from this side, so I can show you that it's recording it later. And
Do you give me permission to record you?
You hear things back, Laura. Is this machine recording?
For I make definite, clear-cut mental pictures of whatever I desire to recall to mind.
and is a really simple way to record the phone call. It drops the call, and immediately it sends a text back and says, here's your link to the recording. Now, you can continue to use this unlimited, but you do need to go to I do not want to subscribe and give a reason. So let's do that, just so we can test this out. I am just testing this out right now and want to see how it works.
How to secretly record a conversation on your phone without anyone knowing.
The purpose of this test. Which of several qualities predominates in your arsenal?
The right to openly record the police in public. You'll notice that I emphasized openly, and I'll explain why in a second.
Where the fucking cameras at now besides ours? KSDK, KMOB, CNN, MSNBC. I'm calling all you motherfuckers out. Where y'all at now? Where the fucking cameras at now besides ours? Where the fucking cameras at now besides ours? Where the fucking cameras at now besides ours? Where?
People are getting arrested for openly recording the police in public. For openly recording the police in public.
Criticize his colleagues in the Senate for allowing it to continue. The senator went on in his speech to criticize the administration for the conduct of the war.
People are getting arrested for openly recording the police in public.
And then you're gonna tap on voice recorder, face up, right? Hit the button, boom, the phone doesn't pop on or anything, but it has started recording to show you. Once I turn the screen on, look, I hear start recording. See that? So the cool thing is it doesn't pop up and trigger anything, let you know it's recording. It's
filming the police in public is First Amendment protected activity.
An end to forgetting, which you never thought possible.
To criticize his colleagues in the Senate for allowing it to continue since the war had never been formally declared as the Constitution required.
So you want to be always openly recording.
Does this sound familiar to you?
The Constitution requires.
It's just recording. So if you're trying to like record a boss or maybe catch, someone alive or chief or whatever, I don't know. This is a really cool device to get.
I want to record all conversations with my ex as a safeguard and to have a record. I want.
Citizens always have the right to openly record the police in public. And so in this situation, I would argue that it is okay to inform the police of your law by saying something like, "Officer, I'm familiar with the law, but the courts have ruled that it doesn't apply to recording on-duty police."
Does this sound familiar to you? The senator was a man named Hoa. Does this sound familiar to you?
Intention capture.
People have to trust us. 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 People have to trust us.
Okay, do you give me permission to record you?
People have to trust us.
Okay, do you give me permission to record you? Do you give me permission to record you?
I want to record all conversations with my ex as a safeguard and to have a record of what we said to each other and agreed to between each other.
I wanted to share something with you that has been a great help to me in my marriage. So I was looking for something that I could, pretty much spy on her with, and not that I wanted to, but I needed to know. I was able to listen to the fact that she was cheating on me, her talking to another man, and every time I got her phone, she would delete her text messages. But with this software, I would be able to find out exactly what her text messages were before she deleted them. And at any given time, I was able to find out exactly what kind of conversation she was and where she was at and listen to her surroundings. So I found out a lot of information. And needless to say, I'm filing for divorce right now.
Intention capture. What is that about? It's about decoding real neurons using artificial ones. Right? Putting the two together, having them come full circle in a sense. Here, the intention of his motion is being decoded.
With this device, I was able to keep track of him.
How many of you have a streaming... video Video.
Welcome. The Retracto Alliance Personality Identification Program welcomes you. Please do not open your test booklets until I say start. And start. Do not make any marks in this booklet, true or false. Number 1. I like mechanics magazines. Number 2. I have a good appetite. Number 3. I wake up fresh and rested most mornings.
Video.
Number 4. I think that I would like the work of a librarian. Number 5. I am about as able to work as I ever was. Number 14. I have diarrhea once a month or more. Number 15. Once in a while, I think of things too bad to talk about. Number 16. I am sure I get a raw deal from life. Number 17. My father was a good man. Number 18. I am very seldom troubled by constipation. Number 19. At times I have fits of laughing and crying that I cannot control. Reality. Number 27. Evil spirits possess me at times. Number 28. I am bothered by acid stomach several times a week. Number 50. My soul sometimes leaves my body. Number 51. Everything is turning out just like the prophets of the Bible said it would. Number 52. I have had no difficulty in starting or holding my bowel movement. Number 53. I see things or animals or people around me that others do not see. Number 54. I would like to be a florist. Reality.
And let them know that, I'm watching.
Number 91. I do not mind being made fun of.
He's not allowed to move. He's not moving. He's not allowed to move. He's not moving.
And letting him know that he can't get away with some of the things that normal teenagers would get away with.
What I want is for you to say, I know how to record the police.
As long as you're considered one of the parties to the call. This is known as one-party consent.
Recording app on the home screen of your smartphone. Really? We got like 3, 4, 5? That's fantastic. Now, if a police officer unlawfully tries to snatch, confiscate, or destroy your smartphone, what you have recorded up until that moment will be saved securely off-site. Well, sometimes people make the mistake of responding with something like, officer, I'm recording you to make sure you're doing your job right. The law doesn't apply to recording on-duty police. Do not point your camera at the police like it's a gun.
Get fucking back! Get back! Get back! Get back! That's just back! Get back! Here we go. Don't shoot!
But it's better than pointing your camera like a gun, and you can avoid that vertical video.
That's on every president. Reality will impose certain requirements, as it does on every president. I've been in the Oval Office now in 10 administrations. And I have yet to see the president who escapes the fact that he's part of a continuum.
I add the element of action to all of my mental pictures.
You might visualize a large hat. It raises up and is found to be worn by a hen, which happens to be carrying a large ham under her wing. The hen drops the ham and a hare grabs it and runs up a steep hill. A grotesque illustration, you might feel. Yet the memory retains unusual pictures longer than usual ones.
Permission to record you?
But his intentionality is being captured over there.
People have to trust us. People have to trust us.
Now, as long as you're on the call and you're not eavesdropping in on someone else's call, you can legally record the call without letting the other party know.